just going to be a quick little rundown. I'm not going to do a video after this. This card, sucks. Sure, deal 5 damage to the non-dinosaur enemy unit. This, fuck off. Fuck off with this thing. Your units get +1 and overwhelm. That's okay, I guess. Fuck off with this secondary effect. This one will never see play. Maybe for the memes. I tried to think of an idea for this, but no, sucks. This card's nice. It's fun. I recently tried making a Shadow Spire deck with this. That video will be out on Friday because it was a failure. And it's really decent if you get a bust with War Cries or something, right? As we all saw in my last video. Dinosaur Nest, fuck off with this card. Sure, they nerfed it, but the nerf wasn't enough. Here's an idea. Maybe not give you a killer dinosaur or a charge. How about Overwhelm and... what else is a time ability? Decay? Yeah, Decay, I think, now. Endurance. Fucking Endurance. This card is literally a times version of, sacrifice your own unit, but you can also use it on your opponent. Good card, solid. But you would usually use it on your units most of the time. Fuck off with this card. Who will ever play this? This is a rare? What makes this card so rare? Because you can put more than one attacking unit back into the owner hand, increase the cost by 1. That seems decent, and sure it has inscribed, but no, I don't think, unless someone's playing some sort of 150 control deck or something, or a control deck with a lot of ramp. Nah. This card, I haven't even touched this card yet. Costs 1 less for 4 or more units in your or for 4 attack or more unit in your void. I guess you could make a self-mill deck. I think people have made decks around this where you keep milling and you have that 4/1 unit. You have the that sentinel where at the end of your turn, I think if it's in the void, it buffs units in the void. Like, that's one way to increase this. I could probably try to play around with this, but I'm not in the mood with it for some reason. Lunar Claw, +3 attack, or choose a non-unit, non-power card from the enemy's player's hand. They can't play cards with the name of... So pretty much this whole stops spells and attachments. And it only has 3 for a turn. People think this is a decent card. I think it's shit. I personally do not... It's not that good if you ask me. Not that good. Sure, it might be late game. You play it. They can't play whatever's in their hand, but nah, not that great. This card, inscribed, Empower. Give her +1/+1. Another unit +1/+1. Top card of your deck +1/+1. This is a good card. If you guys saw that Warcry deck I did, this is great. It is not Warcry itself, but the thing is, you don't have to attack, you just have to play power. Sure, you don't always play power, but if you get another one of these, and also Inscribe. Inscribe now makes it much easier to do in power, right? This card, Furious well, I can never pronounce that for the life of me. This card is just too fucking good, but at the same time, people think it's really solid that you'll always have 3 armor. If your opponent has flying or more units, they're going to get rid of that armor. So, but I think to make it more fair, they should, if this ever gets nerfed, it should be gain 3 or stunned enemy unit. I think it's a little bit too strong being both. But I think it's a good card. I love Armory. I try to make Armory decks half time when they release new cards armor related. This is something we need, but we're not there yet. We're not there yet. This dinosaur, it's good to have in a dinosaur deck. I remember I tried using this in my Spells and Dragon deck, with the cradle and everything. It was decent having. Giving yourself face is solid. Much better than this card. Your cursed player can't have more than 1 armor. Deal 1 damage to the cursed player for each of their units. This is not bad, but no one will ever put this in their deck. Really. And sure, the curse, you can't have more than 1 armor. That's good, but armory is still not a thing. You know? If when armory becomes a thing, maybe this will be something you put in the market. I don't know. Sure, it has inscribed, so you can always use it for power, but nah, it's just a waste of space. Strategy. Just draw and discard a card, then deal 2 damage. If you have a lot of cards in your void, or if a lot of cards went to your void that turn, deal 8 damage instead. When will this second effect ever be applied? Unless you're making some sort of self-mill deck, but still. This card is a tragedy. It sucks. Look, it sucks. Sinister Research, inscribe, and invoke a shadow. Fuck, like, this is not that great, but remember when that fucking, that unblockable shadow unit that had invoke? People would always play that, because shadow usually has the most annoying cards when you evoke. Why give this the shadow? Very least, what they could have done is, they could have made this a cycle card, where you could have had, I don't know, Justice Research, Primal Research, Fire Research. You know? They could have made this into a cycle. It's weird. This card. This is a meh. Sure, you can't. It's okay, I guess. I thought it sucked when it first came out, but you can't kill it with spells, but you can't put weapons on it either. It's gets a good blocker in the sky. It's meh. This weapon here, also meh. Sure, it's a 5 for a 5/2, so this weapon's probably not going to last. But if you sacrifice a unit of quick draw, then yeah, this card will more likely last. Lifesteal's always good. It's okay, but I have not seen anyone actually play this. I don't think it's really worth sacrificing a unit, really. But it also gains attack, too, right? So, maybe I'll try to mess around with that later on. Oh, abundance. Man, they literally had to nerf another card because of this card, right? Like, this card's fun, but you know what they should have done? Instead of making it a random unit, it should have been a random dinosaur. You know, limited it out, you know? Sure, there's not a dinosaur for every cost, but then they probably, what they could have done was just the next lowest cost. I don't know. It literally has a fucking dinosaur in it. What the fuck were they thinking with this? This is not a bad card whatsoever, but why the fuck is it Rakano? This seems like it would be more of a Asylum, whatever times prime is, you know? I really don't. I kind of think it's weird when they make dinosaurs for Fire and Justice. They just introduced Fire Justice dinosaurs, but they did it in a mini set. Why in a mini set? Because you can't really make a Fire Justice dinosaur deck. I tried, trust me, I tried. It did not go well. Love this card. When I first saw this, I thought this was going to make Combre Kira really strong, but I have not seen a lot of Combre Kira decks. Fun, ironic enough. I think I tried making one. It didn't turn out well. I'm probably going to mess around with it a little more. Valley Springs. It's okay, I guess. But they literally nerfed a bunch of Fate cards. I think they did it just because of this card. Sure, the dinosaur, or the Zox, needed to be sort of nerfed because I guess it's kind of annoying. You just use them for getting a treasure trove, and then you just... What I used to do before was that creation control deck where I would discard Zoc for something else, like, I don't know, another spell card or something. But then I did get the treasure trove. But now now that type of deck it's gone. I can't play that ever again. I think I tried thinking of an idea of brewing for this card. I think what people might try to do though is you know how I just recently fought against those breach decks. They probably would put this in their breach deck because you know it creates a card every time, right? Reduce the cost, right? There you go. New thing for breach. Huntmaster Vikrum. Exhaust an enemy unit and steal it, or if you have no units, it gets +4, gets +3 attack and charge. Fuck this card. Fuck this card. fuck this card so much. Plus 3 attack. How about plus 1 or 2 attack? It's always bad enough that it steals a unit, but you have no units on the field. Fuck you. Fuck this card. How about give it 2 health then? Fuck. Stun an enemy unit. Deal 3 damage to the enemy player. Has lifesteal if there's an attacking enemy unit. I don't get... Dude. I guess this is if you're trying to make control work in Expedition, but I don't know. I haven't seen anyone actually try playing this card. It's not bad, but I wouldn't say it's good either. Like, I see the appeal. It's solid, I guess, but not something people put in their decks. Scare, tableau. Can't be killed if you have a dinosaur. Weird thing to have. Start of your turn, play the top card of your deck. Or if it isn't a power, it has a unique name. Pretty much good in a singleton deck. I actually brew a deck for this. It did okay. Did I release that video yet? No, it's not released yet. It's still in the salty vaults. I guess I should call my stockpile the salty vaults. Where if you were a Patreon, you would already see the video of this deck, right? It's okay. So yeah. That's how I feel about all those cards. Yeah, I hope that answered that. I'm probably gonna hit the hay now. Well, that's the end of this video. If you want to see more in the future, why not subscribe to my channel? But in the meantime, why don't you check out these playlists? And I want to thank my patrons whose donations, big or small, really help support my channel. Anyways, hope to see you in the next video.